What it do, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Axis of Combat podcast, episode 81, special holiday edition. We got no UFC, no MMA to speak of, just some boxing, We got a little bit of Top Rank, got a little bit of Queensberry, and, we're going to keep this one nice and short and sweet, maybe a little more loose than usual, but, like always, it's your boy Ray Boogie Kahuna, and my co-host.
Who go the boss? Who go ready for Christmas?
Hey, ho.
You already know. And before we get into any of that business, you already know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying these visuals right now, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, you already know. And as my brother said, there's no prominent MMA this weekend, but we have some big-time boxing fights, one taking place in Japan, the other one taking place in the great nation of Saudi Arabia. My brother, what do you got for me?
Well, since we're dressed for the occasion, I'll kick it off with the Christmas Eve card happening in Tokyo, Japan. We'll start with the co-main here. We got Yoshiki Takei going one-on-one with Yuttapong Tongdee.
Hey,
that's a mouthful, yo.
Oh my God.
Takei is perfect. 10-0. He is the champion, fighting out of Japan, hailing from Japan, 28 years old, going one-on-one with Tongdee, who is also perfect. 15-0. The challenger, fighting out of Bangkok, Thailand, 31 years old.
Tongdee from Bangkok. Okay.
Amen.
Come on, man. Respectfully, sir.
Well, listen. Respectfully, I think between this and the main event for this card in particular, this one is going to be the most action-packed, I think.
Yes.
It's going to be the slobber knocker of the night. This is going to be for Takei's belt. Tongdee from Thailand, from Bangkok in particular. He's going to be at a height and reach disadvantage here. He's a bit of a on and off kind of fighter. When I mean on and off, I mean he'll throw the jab, kind of like slow it down a little bit, especially early on. And then he'll explode with like burst of like combinations. Hits hard because he's like kind of stationary a bit in terms of the way he fights. Takei, Japanese kickboxer, fighting a guy who's from a land known for its kickboxing. It's a step down for Takei, in my opinion. It's definitely a step up in competition for Tongdee. I think if Takei uses his range, uses his, his length, keeps Tongdee at bay, he's got this.
That's crazy.
But like defensively, these guys both have issues. I think Takei relies on his chin a little too much, and that's the Muay Thai background, right? Tongdee, if he wants any chance of winning this fight, he's got to get in, got to make it dirty. He's got to close that distance, and at this fight, I can see a lot of knockdowns. I don't know if it's going to go to distance, in my opinion. I'm going to be leaning Takei, though. I think he's just the better fighter, fought the better competition. He's yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm on Takei as well for a couple of reasons. His last fight against Higo was a huge step up. Higo, very dangerous puncher. He was able to mitigate that. He actually got dropped in the 12th round, which is pretty crazy, and still managed to win the fight. The fight was very close on the scorecards, even closer because of the knockdown, but I thought the rightful guy won based on what I saw. Tongdee, I feel like his only issues are, besides planting and not being as mobile, he's super low volume at times, man. And he fights in spurts, as my brother mentioned. Takei does have questionable defense, but so does Tongdee, as my brother mentioned as well. But the one thing I also want to bring up is that Takei fades late deep in fights. He does have some gas issues, and I think that's what led to him getting dropped his last fight. It's also what led to him getting in trouble his last couple of fights. But against Maloney, we called out the baloney against Maloney, and we made some good money.
Bars.
We made some good cheddar cheese on that fight because we picked Takei as a big underdog in that fight.
Yeah, we earned some real bacon there.
Yeah, 100%.
You said cheese, I said bacon. I just want to mix it up.
But I think Takei's the rightful favorite here. I don't know if the line should be this wide, to be frank. I feel like Takei is still developing, but I just feel based on the level of competition that I guess maybe it's rightfully lined. Usually when you line something this heavy, you expect to finish. I don't know if he's going to finish this guy. I feel like he might cruise to a decision. But I feel like the bet for this fight is definitely, as my brother mentioned, knockdowns. I feel like knockdowns is definitely the way to go with this fight. And that's a long shot. It depends on how it opens up on the line, because we do this relatively early in the week and we got to see what's of value, et cetera, et cetera. And as you guys know already, follow us on all social media platforms, because that's essentially where we're going to be dropping the bets and our final bets, obviously, because we can only speak now without lines being directly open. We only see money lines, nothing in terms of props and things of that nature. So follow us on all social media platforms to get the full picture towards fight time. And keep in mind, by the way, before we even continue with this card opens, I think it's Tuesday morning, you know?
Yeah.
So
you wake up Christmas morning for the gifts. You wake up Christmas Eve for the fights.
Correct.
Now moving on to the main event for the Christmas Eve fight, we have the returning champion, Inoue, the monster, going one-on-one with some decent competition here in Sam Goodman. I almost said Gooden. I almost said Saul Goodman.
It's all good, man.
It's all good, man.
It's all good, man.
Inoue, perfect. 28-0, the champion fighting out of Japan, hailing from Japan, 31 years old. Sam Goodman, also perfect. 19-0, the challenger fighting out of Australia, 26 years old. This fight is probably flying under the radar. I think a lot of people are rightfully on the monster side, on Inoue's side. I think he is probably going to win this fight. But Sam Goodman, you know, I mean, I seen it on paper. I said, Sam Goodman, I don't know who this guy is, you know. So I started doing some tape on the Goodman. And Goodman's good, man. He's
he got the goods, man.
He's got the goods, man. Better call Sam, you know what I'm saying? This fight is actually going to be very good. I think this is the most technical guy Inoue has fought.
Yeah, particularly in these heavier weight classes.
And obviously Goodman, for Inoue, on the Inoue side, is probably going to be the most dangerous guy he's fought. But that being said, I mean, Sam Goodman, technical, counter striker. His hands, I mean, he changes speeds. Like, he'll throw the jab, he'll throw the 1-2, and it looks slow at first, but then he'll explode with a combination. Works the body really well. Deceivingly very good. Wears damage. Moves really good on his feet. I mean,
very defensively responsible.
I mean, this is. I don't think this is gonna be any kind of cakewalk for Inoue at all.
Yeah.
That being said, I still think Inoue is probably gonna have the slight speed advantage here. Possibly, actually, no, possibly, probably. No, not even probably. He will have the damage.
The power advantage.
The power is definitely on the Inoue side. What I like in terms of a bet for this is the over. Depending on where the over is set. Obviously, all I see is money lines here. We're doing this way in advance. They haven't even set anything yet. I'm hoping that since it's an Inoue fight, they set the rounds low.
I agree.
Because I think it's a smash over.
It might go the distance.
It could. This might be one of Inoue's. Has Inoue been the distance before?
Yes, he has. Yeah.
It's gonna be one of his few. It's gonna be one of those rare occasions where he goes deep. Pause.
Let's
go deep with the good man. You know what I'm saying? But give me Inoue here to win. Not too confident in the knockout, in my opinion. The money line, way out of control. From a betting perspective, depending on where the line's at, like I said, and where they set the rounds, it's gonna be the over on the rounds. But I'm kind of hyped for this fight because I think it's gonna be a chess match a bit.
Yeah, I'm with you on Inoue as the pick. But I tell you what, if this fight was in neutral territory, I'd be very tempted to throw on Sam Goodman's decision prop here. It's going to be in Japan, so the judges are not going to give Sam this fight. I don't give a shit how good he looks, to be frank with you. They'll give it a draw at max.
Well, they're trying to set up that super fight with Nakatani.
Yeah,
I think that's what they want in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, I just feel like, you know, I respect Sam for going across seas for this fight. Obviously, it was probably the biggest paid day available as well, too, because Inoue is getting these boys paid, which is why he's able to draw them over. If this fight was on neutral territory, I'd be very tempted to pick Sam Goodman via decision. And the reason being is because he's very difficult to find. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if he's encountered anything even close to Inoue, but Inoue has definitely struggled with guys who know how to manage range correctly and or crack. Inoue, Sam, he knows how to manage well. The only thing that troubles me with Sam, he doesn't have a ton of punching power. So I have a hard time seeing how he's going to keep Inoue off of him for 12 rounds. But I do think he can manage him pretty well. I think he's going to be expected to move backwards for a good amount of this fight. Very selective with his offense, but very efficient with his offense. Like, he knows when to let his hands go and when he's safe to let his hands go. He also will engage in a dogfight in the middle. and he knows how to slip and angle just out of the way properly from some of these bigger punchers. Even TJ Doheny, who was Inoue's last fight, Sam Goodman had a fight against him when Doheny was less shot, to be frank, and he was still pretty durable, and he fucking styled on him. Like he dropped him too.
He even scored a knockdown in that fight. Yep.
Yeah. So for me, it's like with the angles, with the footwork, with the defensive boxing, I feel like he's going to give Inoue a little bit of trouble in the beginning. And you've seen in Inoue, I forgot which fight it was that he had. It might have been his Doheny fight where he had a little bit of issues closing the distance because of the power from Doheny, and then just slowly just broke him down and wore him down. I feel like it's going to be a similar result here. This fight's just super interesting. I don't agree with the money line because I do. And for him to be a minus 2,500, you have to guarantee he's going to knock him out.
And probably early. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen. No. I really don't. I mean,
do you see knockdowns happening in this fight?
Possibly, yeah, because I don't see
that could be a sneaky bet.
In a way, if anything, the only thing you can really question about him is his chin, and it might. And I'm not saying that he has a suspect chin. I just think maybe
he could get a little defensively reckless sometimes.
He's reckless a bit. And Sam is not the biggest puncher, but he's a sharp puncher, and the sharp punching is what can put you down. And
I'm going to be interested in the body work that Sam does because man, he rips to the body.
He rips. The issue is I feel like Sam's style kind of plays into Inoue's pressure and Inoue wanting to pressure, and that's why I'm going to pick Inoue to win this fight. If that decision prop looks juiced, like it looks like really nice, like plus 400, plus 500 because they think this fight's going to end, I will play it. But like my brother, the bet for this fight, and because it's unbettable in any other way, I'm assuming.
Depending on where the rounds are at.
It's the over.
Yep.
It's the over because I do feel like Sam is competent enough to mitigate damage.
Yeah, so he can mitigate damage with his footwork alone.
I like the decision props here if they're juiced. I just want to see.
You're kind of talking me onto it, but yeah, I'm thinking about
it. If you're asking if it was on neutral territory or even in Europe, I would throw Sam at plus 1,200. You think he's gonna cover that line? I don't know, but give me Inoue. I'm gonna say by decision, but like. That's not with a high degree of confidence. So we'll see what happens. All right. So, but those fights are on Tuesday, the 24th.
Yep.
We have fights the previous Saturday, but we saved those for last because it's the bigger fights of the weekend, which is crazy because in a way, fight weekends are usually
the biggest.
But we have Fury and Usyk. So
the rematch. The run back on the card that's titled Reignited. Queensberry Promotions over here. You know what I'm saying? You know how the Saudi cards they like naming the cards, giving them funky names. Ring of Fire was the one they fought in before, right? I don't remember the last one.
I don't know. This is not WWF back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
I kind of like it. It's got old school vibes.
Backlash.
No way out. But we'll start. So now we're going to the Kingdom, and we'll start with the co-main. And the co-main was originally supposed to be Serhii Bohachuk going one-on-one with Madrimov.
Which is a banger.
That was a banger.
That's a great fight.
But Madrimov ended up falling out.
Unfortunately.
And now we got Bohachuk still on the co-main, still on the card, but he's fighting last-minute replacement Ishmael, the Black Panther, Davis. Bohachuk, El Flaco, Ukrainian with the hella Chicano nickname. I respect it. 24-2, fighting out of Los Angeles, California, which explains the nickname. But repping Ukraine, 29 years old. Ishmael, the Black Panther Davis, is 13-1, fighting out of Leeds, Yorkshire, England. Repping England, 29 years old. I'll start on the Ishmael side. He was undefeated. This is not his last, or how do I say this? This is not the only time he stepped in short notice on a Riyadh card, by the way. His last opponent, Josh Kelly. I thought Josh Kelly did what he needed to do. Scorecards were a little bit
fugazi.
A little bit bonkers on that one because I thought it was a landslide for Kelly, and for some reason one guy had it a draw and two of them had it
114, 113 or something like
one or two rounds like separate,
which is crazy.
No disrespect to Davis. Davis stepping in last minute, didn't look tired, super slow starting in that particular fight. I could understand why he had issues. I mean, Kelly hella like technical,
very good from the outside.
Very fleet of foot, excellent footwork. Couldn't really have Kelly stand in front of him and so he can get his offense off because Davis is the type to like, walk you down, throw in combination, hit hard. Now he's stepping in last minute to fight Bohachuk here. And Bohachuk probably fits his style a little more. Both of these guys are going to be walking forward. Both of these guys are going to be throwing bombs. But Bohachuk is a monster, in my opinion. Bohachuk is very good. This is the very big step up for Davis, in my opinion. I think everything Davis does, Bohachuk just does better. He moves better. He throws harder. He throws with way more volume. He'll counter strike or strike, whatever you want to do with him. He'll do it. Tough chin. He's Ukrainian, so +5 durability.
Train for competition is on his side as well, too.
The resume, you can't even compare. Give me Bohachuk to win this fight. I can see a late stoppage.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of who's more durable in there, but how long somebody's durability could essentially last. I'm teetering between late round and decision, but I think Bohachuk is 100% the side. I just think it's too much too soon for the Black Panther.
Yeah, all respect to the Black Panther. His story is incredible. Went to jail, like similar B-Hop story, and the guards were like, yeah, we'll see you back in here, and he just kind of committed himself and endowed himself in the sport of boxing as much as he possibly could to stay off the street and obviously do what he has to do. But like my brother said, I feel like I'm worried about him in this fight, and I'm worried about him because he's going against a guy that, yeah, he can hit, but we seen Bohachuk go through Brian Mendoza, a gunfight, and just literally put it on Brian Mendoza. Brian Mendoza's jaw was like huge on the side of his face.
Twice its size.
It was bad.
He looked like he had a mouthful of nuts.
Yeah,
like a squirrel.
Like a squirrel.
That's what he was looking.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, and honestly, like, to do that to Brian Mendoza is impressive. Then he fights Virgil Ortiz, who a lot of people say that Gerard Ennis is ducking. And that fight was fucking close. And it was just a phenomenal contest. I think Virgil Ortiz is the whole package, to be frank. He moves well. He strikes well. He knows how to move his feet. He's very defensively sound, but he can get into a big Mexican style brawl too. So like Virgil Ortiz, I think, is the real deal in this weight class. And that fight was close. Like, it was very close. Bohachuk doesn't move like your traditional Ukrainian boxer. Doesn't have that dance style. Didn't step out to be a ballerina for 3 years before re-entering the sport. Literally plants his feet and thumps. And unfortunately for Ishmael, I feel like he does what Ishmael does, but better, to my brother's point. Ishmael's going to have his moments in this fight. I do expect him to make a good account of himself, especially since, well, actually, not even really, because he's kind of taking this fight on short notice too, so
he might start slow like he did with the with his last fight. Yeah,
and don't get me wrong, like, he had his moments in that Kelly fight. If that was a fight, that had infinite rounds, fight to finish, he probably wins that fight. But
for me, his 12th round, his best round. That last round in that fight, that's where he really just like let it go and showed like he had Kelly in danger. That man was like, he was on skates. He was moving.
Yeah, this is the problem with this fight. It's just that you have two guys with two big guns, and there's one guy who obviously has a bigger gun.
Yeah.
Pause.
The old gun.
Yeah. And honestly, all the Ukrainian fighters, considering what their country's going through at this moment, they're like fighting with a crazy edge on their shoulder, man. It's very hard to fade Bohachuk here, considering he has, in my opinion, all of the edges in this fight. They're both defensively irresponsible, but they both have good chins. But Bohachuk is more proven. And this is a guy that he should unfortunately handle, because we like the Black Panther in this podcast, We like him. We like the fucking movies. We like Chadwick Boseman. Rest in peace to the God. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel I just feel like, we have to be honest with what we're watching. This is another fight where I like the knockdowns. I feel like there's a chance Ishmael could give him his first knockdown, because he's a big, strong dude. Like, he thumps. But Bohachuk also thumps. And I don't think Ishmael has dealt with this kind of pressure, like this kind of pressure boxer who can put him in danger too. And from a very technical standpoint, Bohachuk is very good on the inside. Ishmael also very good on the inside. This is going to be...
They're going to fight the fight that they want to fight. And it's going to be a war of attrition. Essentially, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, someone's going to fall over, and that's, I think someone's going to fall over in this fight. I like the knockdowns. Give me Bohachuk by knockout, but man, this fight, the knockdowns is definitely the play for this fight, I would say.
And moving right along to the main event, not only of this card, but of this podcast, we have the runback, Oleksandr Usyk, going one-on-one with the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. Usyk, perfect 22-0, the champion, fighting out of Ukraine, hailing from the Ukraine, 37 years old. The Gypsy King, 34-1-1, the challenger, repping England, 36 years old. Banger of a classic, their first fight. Had to rewatch that a couple times. Better fight than I remember, closer fight than I remember. But, I mean, because both guys were having success, you know, whoever was walking forward, you know, whenever Usyk had Tyson on his backpedaling, Usyk was, you know, he couldn't miss. Was it the left hook?
The left hook.
I can't remember which punch it was, but man, he couldn't miss that.
He couldn't miss
the whole
it.
fight. He was landing that shit at least once around.
He was leading with the jab and then switching feet over to get the left hook across the guard. Tyson Fury has a bad tendency of backing straight up as opposed to angling.
And whenever Fury was having success, I mean, look, that shovel uppercut.
Oh man,
right down the pipe, just kept landing right on Usyk. And whenever he went to the body, because that's, you know, Usyk's soft spot. Even though he calls him belly, his belly is the soft spot. You know what I'm saying? So this is probably going to be another classic. These guys are very high level. These guys both hit hard. I can see knockdowns in this fight for sure.
The second fight for sure. Yes.
But in terms of a pick, I think I got to go Fury. I think, and it's tough because I picked Usyk the first time.
Yeah.
In terms of a bet, this is pure dog or pass, and the dog currently right now is Tyson Fury,
which is crazy.
I think Fury's going to sit up for this fight. I think even if he keeps this close and this goes to the scorecards again, there's no way they don't give it to Fury. Not no way, but
because they found a way to give Katie Taylor the Serrano fight, which is fucking crazy.
That's why I paused a little bit because I was like, you know, they want the trilogy on that fight, right? No, Rob Serrano twice, but you know, I'm not gonna talk about that one. That's gonna be tight. But I can see if this goes the distance, they give it to Fury. There's a trilogy. I mean, these are two of the best pound for pound fighters on the planet right now. Heavyweight classics. They're always fighting in Saudi, you know, Turkey. He loves them some heavyweights. You know what I'm saying? So
on top of that too, like just from the sport and for the sport and from the money, because apparently the reported bag for these guys is absurd.
Oh, it's got to be tremendous.
It's absurd.
Yeah.
Like absurd money. And I feel like there's a lot of money in the trilogy, especially since these guys are not like falling off a cliff from at heavyweight. Your prime is way later.
Yeah.
So these guys are not falling off a cliff with their primes yet. But continue before I start. I just wanted to put that in there.
I also got a weird feeling that I don't know how long Usyk is going to want to stay up at heavyweight. I got a weird feeling he's going to want to come back down eventually.
Yeah. I mean, everyone at cruiserweight's food for him. Like, let's just call it what it is. Even Opeta, I respect Opeta. He's explosive, but I think Usyk fucks him up. So just being real.
Like that being said, Fury's probably got more adjustments. Fury can make more adjustments. I mean, if Fury just walked forward for most of that fight, the first fight, probably could have won it. Was having success whenever he did walk forward, when he was having success whenever he put his body on Usyk. And Usyk, I mean, he can't. What does he have to do different? Not that much, in my opinion. He had success, a lot of success in that last fight. So I'm assuming he's going to come out more or less the same way.
Yeah, I think he needs more of Tyson to show him something for him to make adjustments. Yes. So I'm completely there with you.
But he's one of those guys that can make those adjustments on the fly.
Yeah, without any good coaching. No. He can do it by himself. Yeah, like he's very good.
But yeah, give me Tyson as the pick and give me Tyson as the dog, and that's all I got for that one. It's gonna be a banger. It's gonna be really fucking good, and I won't be surprised if Usyk pulled this one out either, because Usyk is like,
he's so good.
Not only is he fucking great, but you know, one of my favorite fighters to watch. I mean, he's so fucking good.
Yeah. So I was on the other side. If you watch the original podcast, I picked Fury. I was wrong. Usyk won the fight. Like, that's just what it is. But I'm gonna go back to the well here, and I'm gonna pick Tyson Fury. It's hard for me to bet any of these boys at -170 when the first fight was a pick'em. A pick'em money, you pick who you think is going to win.
Yeah.
At -170 to +140, 150, you have to go +140, 150 here, because I think the fight is going to be that close. But I will say, Tyson, that fight was close, and Tyson is the one who has to make more adjustments. What is going in Usyk's favor? Usyk has the win over him. Usyk knows that he's chinny, as Fury has shown in his last couple of fights. I think he's been in so many wars at this point that it's like his chin is actually starting to go a bit. We criticize AJ's chin, but the reason we criticize AJ's chin is because unlike AJ, Tyson Fury actually gets up after he gets dropped. So, it's not to like get at AJ, but that's just what it is. But
it is what it is, man.
Fury, I would say that's one of his more glaring weaknesses. However, based on what I saw from the first contest, this is where I think we're going to part a little bit on the difference. I agree with you, and whoever was moving forward was winning the fight. But there was only one of them that looked comfortable on his back foot, and it was Fury. I think Usyk is a good counterpuncher against normal-sized humans that are his size at the cruiserweight division, et cetera, et cetera. Fury knew how to mitigate a lot of his counterboxing by fighting big and by throwing from distance.
I think the issue was that Tyson just felt too comfortable on his back foot.
Yes. It was the same thing with the Wilder fight.
That's why he ended up, was it the 9th round? He ended up getting clipped bad.
Yeah, it was surprising seeing him on his back foot too, considering he's under Sugar Hill, which is the Marvin Hagler style of boxing. Where's our guy? Right up top in this wall over there. You probably can't see him on camera, but
I don't think
you could probably see him from this. Oh, no, you can. He's cut off. But
he's right here, trust me.
Yeah, the God, Marvin Hagler.
You might be able to see his meat. Pause.
But that whole Kronk style gym, they teach you to walk forward and throw hard and throw volume and just to break down your opponents. I do see a world where Fury does that this fight because Usyk had a lot of problems when he started walking forward on him.
Yeah, he had to work very hard to get in on, you can tell between the two guys, Usyk was working hard to get his offense off.
Yes, especially with Tyson, especially too with Tyson pursuing him, he couldn't do a lot.
Yeah.
He could not do a lot. And it's because Fury can force you into different positions because of his length and his size. You can't
teach those attributes. You know what I'm saying?
You can't. It's hard to get sparring partners to replicate him.
Yeah.
You can get a whole bunch of guys that are the same size as Usyk too, to be fair, that can't replicate Usyk's movement. But if you have a couple of guys switch in every couple of rounds that can mimic the movement somewhat, you can replicate it. You can't mimic a guy who's 6'7" on paper, because I think he's more like 6'6", to be frank, 6'5", but has that good in and out movement with the footwork. I feel like Tyson's got the bigger adjustments. Tyson's the bigger guy. Tyson had success with the shovel uppercut, as my brother mentioned, as Usyk was coming in and as he was drawing out Usyk's attacks with the feints. I feel like this is Fury's fight to lose, man. I really do. And unless he gets, he keeps saying the left hand from God or whatever. No, dude, you got hit with that punch repeatedly throughout the contest.
Every round, I feel like.
Every round you got hit with that. It was a little switch foot hook after the right hand. So he has to do better than that. But what I will give him credit for, he made no excuses after the fight. He said, listen, he was the better man. Tyson knew this was going to be a tough fight, which is why he wanted back for it, which I respect.
Yeah. And low-key, he was probably just hoping he could fight Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Joshua fumbled the bag.
Hard.
And so he's like, oh, shit, I got to fight Usyk again. Fuck it. I just run that back.
Now,
do I like this heavy bag or do I like this heavy bag? I take the heavy bag with less danger or more danger. I don't know.
Yeah. And listen, to be fair, he was face down on a pub after this fight, but that was immediately after the fight. He looks like he's in incredible shape for this fight. Yeah. So I'm going to lean Fury here. And listen, now with a high degree of confidence, this is purely a dog or pass spot.
Yeah, this is a 50-50 fight.
Correct. But what I will say is I like the knockdowns in this fight too. I feel like all the fights this weekend have knockdown potential. We'll see which ones we like the most after assessing as the fights get closer. But all the fights have knockdown possibilities, and it's because of Fury's chin and because of Usyk's non-durability to the body.
And Usyk was wobbled one or two times
from shots.
Not completely rocked, but he got stunned.
He got stunned.
Fury couldn't do it.
Yeah,
100%.
And some of those were off of Fury's back foot.
Yep.
So Fury goes in there, uses his body, wears on him a little more. I feel like you got to lean Fury here, man. You have to, because the fight's going to be that close. But I also feel like Fury has more of the adjustments to make. And since he made no excuses for the last contest, I feel like he's not a stupid guy. He doesn't rub me as someone that's going to go in there. Like you saw what he did in the first Deontay Wilder fight, and then the adjustments he made in the second one.
Yes.
And then the third one, he kind of did a mixture of both and played around a little bit. But it was also because of how Deontay came out. Deontay came out with a much better game plan and with much better weapons. But the only issues I worry about with Fury is literally his exits. Exits straight back, doesn't keep his hands up, and he doesn't keep his hands up because it's big man's defense. If you ever sparred with anyone in the gym that's tall, they tend not to put their hands up because they're so lanky and lean. They could just lean out the way of shots and just use their head movement and not put their hands up and effectively counter with the hips, with their hands at their hips or their hands on the side. And those lead to more devastating punches, which is why I think Usyk was in trouble. I still expect him to not really get rid of that tick immediately, like later in the fight as he gets exhausted, where technique carries you and where habits carry you.
Yeah.
But early, I could see him really making the adjustment to address those big counter left hooks and those switch stance right to left hook around the guard. We'll see how far this fight goes, but I like the knockdowns for some reason this fight. I don't think we've seen Usyk drop, even though he kind of got dropped against Dubois with that belt shot. Let's just call it what it is. But
you know,
but I feel like there's knockdown probability in this fight.
100%.
Or at least standing 8 counts like they did the last fight. I don't think they're gonna call it. It depends on the ref, but
it depends. I mean, the thing is, like, they're two big dudes, and like, you know, you even seen in the last fight. I mean, he gave him a standing. He gave Fury a standing 8 count. Because Fury's about to fall out the fucking ring. I mean,
yeah,
the rope was holding him up
on all occasions. He was like a ping pong machine all over a pinball machine all over the ring.
Usyk was walking him from corner to corner. He gave him a tour of that fucking ring. Boy.
Listen, when he hit him with that right hand, when he came off the rope, I thought the fight was done.
That man said, "Hey, you want to see this side of the ring? Hold on, bam."
Yeah, it was.
You want to see this side of the ring? Bam.
And people don't realize how beautiful that right hand was when he came off the rope because he kind of just changed the angle slightly and just whapped the hook right in between him, like. Fury was just looking at him, wasn't looking at his hand, so he switched the feet and threw it right over the side. And Fury was just, I mean, he was hurt as fuck, but
yeah,
you know, like it just that's how you break down someone without getting overzealous.
Yeah.
But like I said, can that happen again? Sure. I'm just playing value here. I like knockdowns. I like Fury as the play because I do think this is going to get a trilogy. Oh, and by the way, huge implications for Fury's legacy, in my opinion, on this fight. Where he falls in the pecking order of great heavyweights.
I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a huge.
I think it is
indictment on his legacy if he loses, but it's definitely like it's definitely an asterisk. It's almost it's maybe it's just one of those things where Usyk might just have his number. You know,
he could do it. Yeah, I would say that if the first fight wasn't so close. I feel like
I can
he has to get has to get at least one if there's 3 fights. He has to get at least one. If he doesn't get one, I think it damages him a bit.
If there's 3 fights, he's got to win this one.
He's got to win this one. And less implications for Usyk. I feel like the last fight solidified him as one of the best heavyweight fighters. One of the best fighters because he was a lineal champion at cruiserweight. Yeah. And he was the undisputed champion at cruiserweight.
He might be going back to cruiserweight. I think so. I got a weird feeling he might be moving back down.
Yeah, what else does he have to prove?
Yeah.
He's going to fight Zhang, who can't get a win. Joseph Parker, I think he beats Joe Parker. He's going to fight Fury again. He beat Joshua twice. Wilder's washed. There's nothing for him.
He fights Dubois again.
Yeah.
The renewed Dubois.
He might fight Canelo. Canelo might move up and fight him now.
Oh, shit.
Nah, I don't want to see that.
Nah, I don't want to see that.
Usyk would beat him up. He's too small. But, you know,
size does matter.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry for the long-winded rant, but it's just to give you an idea of like where our minds are when we're picking these fights. And it's, you know, since this is only a 4-fight podcast, it's probably going to be roughly like a 30 to 40-minute podcast. Like we're going to give you a ton of detail because it is an exciting weekend of fights. And I feel like, you know, I think Fury has way more to lose in this fight. And I think he fucking knows that. I think he knows like his reign as heavyweight in terms of like greatest rankings ever for heavyweight, it might go out the window if he loses this one, in my opinion. I think you're going to knock him down a couple of notches. That's just me though. But with that said, I think that just about covers it all.
Hey, that covers pretty much. I mean, listen, we went from the Bronx to Tokyo to Saudi Arabia. Now we back in the Bronx, brother. Take us home.
You already know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying these festive visuals right now. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification button to stay up to date. And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know. Love you guys. Merry Christmas. You guys got good weekend of fights for boxing. Even you MMA heads, I encourage you to watch these fights because these fights that we covered in particular are deemed to be action-packed or very technical at the least. There's a lot of good fights. This is a very underrated fight week.
Yes.
Regardless.
And the fact that there's no UFC, like not a great UFC contest or, you know, something to headline and we're still doing a podcast says a lot.
Yes.
So, yeah, just, man, tune in. Love you guys. Subscribe. It helps us. Merry Christmas. See you guys next week, I believe. We'll see. We're going to take a look at the well and see what's up, but I feel pretty confident we're going to be back.
We might be back. Well, I think so. I got a good feeling.
Yeah, so love you guys. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. See you guys next time for episode 82. Take it easy. See ya.